So first of all, I will talk about labels, so labeling functionality within the CGS. This is related to all of our A products, so Plateia, Ferrovia, and Aquaterra. Based on the feedback that we got from the users, we decided that we want to improve our labeling functionality. So in the previous versions, we have added the blocks as labels, which weren't as good for the BricsCAD because we used dynamic blocks. So now we decided that we also want to support the text and line setting, but not just that, we also wanted to improve the interface, the usability of everything. So to put in the front all the settings that we have for the labels in kind of cleaner way, simpler way for users to use. So with that, we have a new interface, and we also added some new settings that weren't there before. And for now, we only added this for the main element and the sample lines, but other labels will come in the next versions. So from today, I will mostly show you live. So I will show you in the BricsCAD 26 version how this works and what you can do. So let's draw some alignment in Plateia, and let's see what we can change with the labeling functionality. So let's first do a new alignment, and here we get a bunch of labels which are blocks. So these are dynamic blocks, but in BricsCAD you don't have an option to edit those because it's AutoCAD related. But what you can do now is, here we have in the ribbon, we have this small command for labeling, or the 21A7 command, and it's similar in Ferrovia and Aquaterra. And here now you can choose which label you want to change. Then if you want to label it as a block as it is now, or you can change it to line and text option. One thing that we also added for the block label is that here you have an option to open the folder, which will direct you exactly to the location of where the block or the drawing of the block is saved. So if you want to still use blocks and you want to change them, you have this option to open it here and change it as you want. But for today, I will show you the line and text option. And what we have here is actually the dynamic preview of how the label will be shown. So you can change all the attributes. So for example, here we have the radius 1000. This is just the first attribute, but we can also add others. And as you can see, all the labels are seen here. And also, if you don't need the name attribute here, it will automatically move attributes together, so you don't have to take care of the spaces in between. Also, if you want to change the position or the order of the attributes, it's quite simple, because you can just change the number. So the first one is the bottom one, and if I want to change it to the last one, it will automatically change the first and the last attribute accordingly. So this is quite easy to do, and you can also see the result here. Then there are options that we had already before in Plateia in the settings, but they are kind of hard to look, hard to search for. So you can just change the number here, and this will be then shown in the drawing. What we also added are those tooltips, so you can see all the all the pictures here and information, so you know what you are changing. So we have the precision options here. Also, one thing is that usually the users want to change the format of the stationing. We have quite a few station formats here. We have this tooltip which shows you, but you can also go over those format types and you can see how it will look like. So it's maybe easier to see and to choose what you need. Okay, and then we have some other options here, which are just extra settings, and then we have some options here for the texts and positioning, the length of the line and stuff like that. So maybe one thing is also that from this interface you can change the position of these labels, so they are now all on the left side, but you can change it here on the right side or the inner side or something like that. Then we have this option to draw the arrows, as many users have wanted, and you can also see it here. You can change the radius of these circles here if you need to, or you can move them away or remove them. You can change the height. So this was kind of harder thing to do with the block labels, because you have the attributes and the heights already defined in the drawing, in the block drawing. But with the text, you can just change it here, and all the spaces in between will also be changed accordingly. Then we have the offset, so how much from the alignment the labels are offsetted. And you can change the length of the line. So for example, if I want to make it smaller, I can do that and change the text to be smaller and stuff like that. So it's quite more easier to do than before. And we also added an option to change the coloring of these labels, also changing the text styles for these attributes that we have. So it's quite simple, and if you are clicking OK, then for the current alignment or the current axis, it will already be applied. So for example, now we have here too much of everything, but if you want to just make it radius and stationing, we can do that. We can change the height because we want to make it more visible. It's quite more easier to do. So not only that, this is now related to this alignment here. What we have made in the new version is that also all these settings are stored for each alignment individually. So let's create another alignment here. Let's click OK. And we have those default labels for the new alignment. So these are the default settings here. And when we have this axis 1 as active alignment, then label settings will read these options here. So we can change it however we want. So these are still blocks, but we can change the coloring, for example. If we want to change these labels, we want to use these options here also for the other Plateia alignments. We can do that. So we can go to the axis 0 and apply these settings to all alignments. So let's do that. And we can see that both of them have the same settings. So not only that, we have here a window for the prefix and suffixes. We will change that later on, but here you have an option to change prefixes and suffixes for all the attributes that we have available. So if you're not you don't want these changes, you want the default ones, we have also an option to use the initial values. So this will reset all these settings to the default one. So here you have again the yellow labels, only the radius is present and stuff like that. But this is not applied yet. We would need to click OK to be this to be stored, but we can just close it up and run it again, and this will not be saved. So only by clicking OK, this will be initial values will be saved to the current ones. The next part is that we have also made this for the sample lines. So I think that these two labels are the most important. So let's create some sample lines here. And as you can see, these are also block references, so the block labels. So if we go back into the label settings, we can choose the sample line, and we can also change it to the line and text option. This also gives you like some different options here. You know, with the block label, you can't change the positioning of the attributes. You can't change the height of the attributes and stuff like that. So this is disabled here, but you can use this line option and change it however you like. Change the coloring and stuff like that. So quite more easy to do. You can rotate the stationing. You can change the justification so it's in the middle. You can change the text style and stuff like that. And then we also have some other options here, like labeling the distances between the cross sections and stuff like that. So let's click OK. And this is now already seen here. So if it's too big, we can change it, we can make it smaller, and it's quite more easy to do. Okay, let's go to the next